be part of their spaces and communities. So I'm blessed to read with Lee. This is our first time presenting together. I already have chicken skin because I know she's amazing. Just from our pre-conversation in this room, which is kind of private, but anyway, it's fueling this. I'm going to start with a poem, actually, that's not mine, but in the spirit of gathering for Palestine and voices that aren't widely shared. I would like to read a poem by Palestinian poet Lenore Chinn. It's called The Shell of a Cactus Fruit. Dear Kay, have you dreamed of pomegranates this week? You always talk of the pomegranate trees that reflected from your grandfather's eyes. If history is a woman with gentle hands pouring black tea, let there be sunlight, a soft chair, a young Palestinian boy entering his home for the first time. Let the woman be Jewish, and let there be nothing political about the way she yearns for her son's safety, or about the years between 1948 and 1974. Years your grandfather spent mourning the dirt in which he planted these pomegranate trees. In this version of history, there is some forgiveness. Come in, she beckons you. You enter, everything will change.
So Arlene and I are going to do a back and forth kind of conversation. Both of us have prepared 4 pieces that we just, depending on what one of us says, we'll see what happens. And just by listening to Nora's words, I wanted to follow with this poem that I wrote when I was cleaning my great-grandmother's grave in Tonga. Does anybody know where Tonga is? Hala, where's Tonga?
Well, if you're looking at a map like this, it's right here.
If you're looking at the Pacific Ocean,
Yep,
yes.
you're looking at the Pacific Ocean.
Right, Tonga actually means south. It is a nation right next to Fiji. It is one of the only places that managed to maintain some of its sovereignty during European colonialism, though it was a protectorate under the British Empire from 1900 to 1978. Forgive me, I'm like a crybaby, so I'll probably cry a little bit, but you can cry too if you want, or laugh. This piece is called Pronunciation, and I think it resonates well with these feelings of home and how we carry it with us. So, pronunciation. For now we speak only in brooms, sweeping sand across the teeth of concrete slabs. We brush and repeat each stone syllable of the clearing where our great-grandparents are buried. Some words from memory are always here, sounded out by the ant feet, hefting sand grit and glitter homes, fan light over the blue tongues of plastic flowers. The weeds will try to cover all the other ways of saying history. But our pronunciation begins with the clearing we make in our own bodies first, where the broom handle widens the O's in the mouth of our hands, how we shake open the throat to settle each pile of leaves before burning them. Trust the body to open in our language with the rhythm of weight, one hand pushing sand, the other pulling syllables. And one last sway as we close the gates of the Malae, so the trees can better hiss hush at the edge of the ancestor, speaking in all our names.
I'm also a crybaby. I see some crybabies too. Crybaby fan back there. Let it out. It's okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
I love that we don't know what they're reading, but there's already a vibe. I think that happens a lot with artists and poets when they get to come together in space. So this piece was written for visual artist Pilar Aguera Esparzo. You might know her. She was in residence at Montalvo Art Center, and about a year and a half ago, we were able to work together to bring poets into Montalvo. Do you know Montalvo down in Saratoga? So if you do or if you don't, it's a public park, but there is an art center there. There's an artist residency program that brings artists of from all places in the world to come and have some time dedicated to create. One of the things that a lot of folks don't know is that James Phelan was the founder or the person who was sort of the designator of that land as an art space. But what folks might not know is that he did not consider anyone who wasn't white and also male to be of the fine arts. And so this convening that we did at a festival there brought in poets to a space where they were responding to artworks that were by BIPOC artists and talked about what it means to be in a land that is stolen, that we were not allowed or deemed to be allowed to call our own. And I want to shout out my fam, Lorenz Nook and Quinn Gwen, who are poets who were part of that exhibit that we were able to bring together. So this poem was written for Pilar's sculpture. And I'm going to start with a little bit of Sweet Honey on the Wall. That's okay with you? I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty of the world through my own eyes. I thought that you were gone, but now I know you're with me. You are the voice that whispers all I need to know. Land cradles memory. Tonight, our sisters beckon to the 7th generation to gather. When we look around, we recognize our exhaustion in each other's eyes. We're done with small talk. We want to burn it all down. We circle up and watch our sister braid the skins of 7 sacred tones. She guides us to face the 4 directions, closes her eyes to begin. First, she must turn the soil to shed the dead skin of white breezes. She shows us how to dig up the invasive and foreign feline weeds that tried so wildly to eradicate us. We toss them into a bin labeled biohazard. Fact, in the year 2022, the skin lighteners market in the United States alone is estimated to be $342 million. To grieve, rage, and release, we are done with the debris of lies we are told. Anak, Mija, you're getting too dark. Stay out of the sun. Of course she's beautiful. She's mestiza. Her skin is so light, she's like a model. I mean, she's pretty for a dark girl. No, there will be no chemical fertilizers allowed here to poison us. Our memories, our bodies, our melanin roots regenerate truth. We are ready to strike with our own delicious venom. We curve through false niceties, carve out the I don't see colors and the repeating, well, where are you really from? We take a deep breath and slay. And all this time, our sisters still weaving us in, winding us back into the songs of our ancestors, beyond any semblance of colonized lyrics. We resound through the iridescence of dragonfly wings, shimmering and furious beats, soaring beyond the speed of lies.
song will follow another, so I'll be right back.
So when I'm in Tonga, I help run workshops for community so that our young ones, our elders, or whoever wants to come can create lyrics or music or poetry. The only rule is that the majority of those words need to be in our languages. There's a lot of English only in Tonga because of this push for development, where you have our next generations are losing our Tongan roots, just from development, losing some of our trees, which means, and some of our plants, which means they leave our language. So if we speak them back, it's one of the ways that we can reclaim that space. Here comes the waterworks. But so part of that work is that I'm someone who's still learning my language in Tongan. So I also have to follow the rules of the workshops. They're like, if you don't do it, then we're not gonna do it. And I was like, all right, fine. So I wrote this song with my dear friend, Daniela Betelo. So if you wanna check out some really like vanguard, like Tongan artists, like on the streets, like taking over the murals, taking over the space, you can check out Seneca Arts, Seleka Arts. You can find them on Instagram. Just check out the work that they're doing, which is perpetuating art for our Tongan people. So we wrote this song. I'll tell you the lyrics afterward, but I'll do the translation afterward, but I think it connects very well with what we've been doing so far. It may be a little shaky, but we'll get through it. just a small, short translation of that, which I think speaks a lot to the importance of how we protect home, is that fonua in Tongan means, roughly translates to land. But actually fonua for us in Tongan, many of our words mean many things, and it's not just synonymy, it's not just, oh, they might be like, it's actually polysemy, meaning that they hold multiple meanings at the same time. So you have to be able to understand your context and who you're talking to understand what they're saying. So fonua sometimes means land. It's an old word, but it also most deeply means actually placenta and afterbirth. And that is consistent across many Pacific Islander languages. You'll hear it in Hawaii as honua. You'll hear it in Te Reo Maori as whenua. So we understand that the land is part of our body. We plant our placentas in our land still. And that is part of our connection. So fonua maumau means land far away. So it's, the song is about many of our people, especially here in the Bay Area, a lot of Tongan folks out in the East Bay, a lot of Samoans here in San Francisco, especially shout out Sunnydale, the Samoan Community Development Center. But most of us do not have the money to be able to go home. Those are thousands of dollars of tickets, right? And when we travel with everything, everybody. Like, it's thousands and thousands of dollars to go home. It's thousands of dollars to go back. When we still have organized the Pacific from our ancestors. So to be away from your mama'o and to be around different things and then to think about home is constantly what we do as Pacific people, because our spirits are buried in that land. So, cry. Thank you.
I don't know how to follow that. I just want to hear you sing and play and then eat.
Yeah, that's right.
Look at them.
Food coming, guys.
Food coming. It wouldn't be true Pacific Islander. Coming. There's also chairs here too. Is everyone
right next to us?
Are you good? Are we good? Yes, please. Okay. Just a couple more poems. Thank you for describing that song and the different, meanings of words depending on the context. One of the aspects of Filipino culture, Filipino Indigenous culture, is called kapwa. And in a nutshell, it means kindred, or in Indigenous Mayan and Nahuatl culture, Azteca culture, Ilakesh. Tu eres mi otro yo, you are my other me, I am your other you. And when you talk about placenta and earth and, just the eternal struggle of trying to be physically somewhere but living in diaspora, trying to make that connection. And so, again, this is exactly what's happening today. Our hearts are, of course, in pain against all human suffering, but particularly at this moment against genocide that is happening on our phones, in our ears, in our heads, everywhere. And, I just call for us to come together in unity and take whatever action that we can to help fight this. This poem is written for a friend of mine. There's been a lot of loss lately, and I feel like I say that every day now. The lately has become always, and especially, particularly when it comes to young people and children. A dear friend of mine just lost her daughter 2 months ago due to a car accident. She's only 20 years old. So I wrote this poem for Hannah, but I really want to offer it out for all, not just mothers, but all who are mourning our children. Dear Hannah, I've heard that dolphins are so intelligent they can detect a human's fetal heartbeat through a kind of echolocation called buzzing. That if a pregnant woman is swimming in the sea, dolphins will glide toward her and form a circle humming their rhythmic clicks and buzz songs, until the woman feels a fluttering inside her womb, a profound connection beyond what she alone could ever see or hear. I've heard that dolphins have the ability to sense our grieving and to express empathy for the most inconceivable tragedies, for a mother's worst nightmare. How I pray we could be dolphins, able to sense all impending danger and help protect each other from harm. How I pray we could heal the unspeakable wounds, to scream our grief into the sea until it becomes sound waves bouncing off of objects we thought were too far to reach. How I pray your own tummy flutters, because you can feel all of our voices calling your name, calling you back. And how I pray you heal your mom, dad, brothers and sisters' hearts, bodies, and souls, that you can remind them you are always with them, leaping through waves. And how I pray they feel the echoes of you, your smile, and your jokes calling them back into resounding waves of love, returning and returning and returning.
Thank you. When we talk about dolphins, I'm going to talk about spiders. This is for all my aunties. Hina in our language, capital H is actually one of our ancestors. I have a hard time saying she's one of our gods though, because the translation of what my people believed in was given to me by people who weren't my people. It was given to us through Captain Cook's voyages and the biologists and the naturalists that were on there calling my people savages and heathens. And that's how they describe God to us. But Hina, capital H to us, is a goddess or an ancestor. She's an auntie, but she's more connected with sharks, which makes her one of my favorites. But Hina, lowercase, is spider in Tongan. Hina is also across the Pacific, particularly in Polynesian languages, is usually a shortened word for the word white, describing our auntie's hair, white hair. Hina is white. So this is for my aunties. If anybody's ever seen Tongan mats, I highly recommend, even as you're listening to me, if you want to look it up, Tongan mats, you'll see what I'm talking about with this. So here they go. Hina of spiders and aunties. In the strawberry patch, sifting through sticky roots, spiders drip from garden gloves back to the off-blood color of mulch and dying berries. We gather all the torn out plant limbs in sacks and head back to the green garbage bins, surrounded by gopher holes spread open in thick, gray-webbed mouths. They come to make centers, our aunts, spinning throats out of corners in each house of the mind. They collect the night voices of wings, the color of family ties. They funnel into the darkest spaces of each house and make them safe for storing delicate maps. In all our grandmothers and mothers and aunties, there are rooms of Tongan mats, wrapped in black garbage bags or folded under all the mattresses of the family. In the closets beneath the stairs of our species, our aunts collect dictionaries of touch, stacks of shiny thoraxes they'll bring out to teach us how to wrap the dead, feed the young, and when to come out from the webbing of roots to make empty houses full from new mounds. Hello.
I just want to sit down again.
You can, I'm easy.
I'll do that after. Thank you. It's so beautiful. I'm going to end with a poem. It's a ghazal, which is an Arabic form of poetry. Who all follows or knows of Bisan? who goes by her on the interwebs, on the socials, goes by Wizard Bisan. If you don't know her, and if you, can anyone help me? Do you know her last name?
Owad.
Bisan Owad. She's 24 years old, correct? She is one of the Palestinian journalists who has fearlessly stayed and has seen horrors, but also shares the joys, because we don't want to paint just a picture of this suffering, disenfranchised people. She shows us their life and what they refuse to give up. And this is a poem I wrote for her, because every day, every morning, she starts, if I get up and pick up my phone, I'm praying for an address from her, a post from her that says, good morning, this is Bisan, I'm still alive. That's how she starts. So this is for Bisan, in the hopes that she stays safe. Each morning I hold my breath until I see you alive. Exhale when I hear it's Bisan from Gaza, I'm still alive. Yesterday was proclaimed World Children's Day in 2023. Today a mother cradles her daughter, no longer alive. We try so desperately to save you, our brilliant North Star. They keep trying to destroy you, our fierce wizard alive. We want to hurl your pain and suffering into the sea. Watch you float on gentle waves, your spirit alive. Can you feel our fires burning on the riverbanks for you? To conjure your safety, your land back, our Bisan alive.
I have the last piece to close out the poetry. And I think about Lehua's call to action, what to do. Sometimes that feels very, very difficult, especially when you're looking at genocide. What do you do when you're here, when you can't stand in front? So, what do we do? I'm gonna read this last piece. It's about stories. I think we're at a war of stories, and we always have been. It's a war of language. So, you want a better future, tell a better story. So this is just something that I think about. What are the stories you will tell about Palestine today? Can change people's minds. We have to tell these stories. So I'm gonna give us another word in Tongan, because apparently I just realized that's all that I'm doing. So the word tala, can everybody say tala? Tala. Excellent, you're speaking Tongan now. Oh my goodness. Look at all this language revitalization. All right, so tala, as with many Tongan words, as we may have learned, means multiple things. Tala, as a verb, means to tell, relate, to state, assert, and command. Tala is also a noun, and it means thorn, prickle, spike, barb, or bristle. So tala. The movies I loved most as a kid had a spike or barb in them. From Beauty and the Beast and Sleeping Beauty to The Secret of Nim, stories were tala-tala-iya, abounding in thorns. A rose in the way of telling time. Briar, a name for protection. The rose bush is a resistance movement. Clever and catching onto any unsuspecting pant leg, t-shirt collar, or soft palm. A story was the sharp thing. To tell, relate, assert, command, what makes you pay attention to your hands, and how you will carry and give away each spike, barb, bristle.
Kava for president.
This is the time where we're having the post
breathing discussion. I'm a little wrecked emotionally, so what I propose is that we soothe ourselves with some delicious food so that we can eat while we talk, and that feels a little more natural to me. Is that all right?
Yes.
So let's take a few minutes to break. The restrooms are, you can go through this way and around the corner. They're upstairs. There's water, fizzy water in the back, and then we can get ready to feed ourselves, and then we'll have the discussion at the same time.